question I have today: how do I alter my reality to my desired reality? How you guys doing today? That's what we're going to cover today. Great to see you guys. All right. How do I alter my reality to my desired reality? I know everybody, right? They have something they want. You have something you want to experience. You have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations. Can these dreams and can these goals, no matter how big they are, no matter how small they are, can they be achieved? Can my wildest dreams, my desires, the things that I want, can I really experience it? Or is it all just fantasy? Am I really here to experience my best life? The answer to those questions are a big YES, yes. Yes, you can experience the things you dream about. You can have the things your hearts desire. But you have to know how to go about to do it. This is what I'm going to talk to you and teach you today. So if you want to experience and have your desired reality, there's one trick, well, let's call it trick to make sense here. There's one thing that you must do daily, and it will shift your life into your dream state. You will start to attract and get what you want. And that one thing you have to learn to do, guys, you have to learn to, I want you to write this down, because when you look at this every day and you write it down and you see it, it's going to all make sense. I'm going to explain to you. You have to learn to alter your perception of the physical world. Happy Friday to you guys. You have to learn to do that. Now let me explain to you why this is important. And let's go into the thing we have inside of our head, our brains, right? You know, the thing about our brains is that, did you know everything that we see around us here doesn't actually exist in a physical reality? Actually, we could go a little deeper. There is no such thing as a physical world or reality. Actually, I'll make it simple for you. Everything that we see is like a computer generated simulation. So everything that we're observing in our lives and our people in our world, they're all generated by our brain through processing images. The actual raw data of the reality is like pixels. They're just information of energy and light, vibration or frequency, as we know, in the spiritual world and things like that. So, if you knowing that literally means that if everything is information, and when your brain gets information, it processes the information based on your altered state of your perception. Basically, what it means is that my brain will alter information based on what I believe is happening out there, what I think consistently is happening out there, also by what I observe around my surroundings. That alters my perception. You see how that works? All right, let me give you a real-time example of how this stuff works. Let's say you go to work every day, okay? And let's say the job you work at isn't paying you the amount of money you want, or you want something else. So everybody's working the same job with you. So you go to your job every day, and you're constantly interacting with your coworkers. When you interact with your coworkers, you hear their story, you hear their struggle. So your coworkers will tell you, this ain't paying me enough. And you're like, yeah, this ain't paying me enough too. Then another coworker says the same, other coworker saying the same thing. So naturally, when you go back home, it's like normal, right? But here's a but now. You won't be able to see the opportunities of a job that will pay you more. You cannot see the opportunity because your perception has been altered by your experience at your job. It's been altered by the people around you. So when the people around you tell you, I'm struggling, you're struggling, you're gonna believe that's just the way it is. People struggle. I go to work, we all struggle. And then when you get home, you're gonna automatically think, well, I can't be the only one. There's a lot of people struggling. You won't be able to know and understand that this job here is just a perception. But if I can go home and I can just perceive it differently, if I can perceive that I can make more money easily and effortlessly, there's more opportunities out for me, you know what will happen? Those things will start to show up in your life. It can be no other way, because this is how your brain works. Remember in the beginning of this live, I know some of you just joining here, I said to you that there is no such thing as a physical constructive reality. It doesn't exist. It's like a story time, it's a game, it's a movie. Everything that we are projecting and seeing in our lives, the base source of them is light information. That information, when it gets into our consciousness, we construct it into being abundant or lack. So you have to learn to alter your perception. So Mark, how do I alter my perception, man? Since my perception changes my world. Well, you're going to alter your perception by first using your imagination. You got to imagine what your new life would look like to you. That's going to alter perceptions. How do you alter a perception? You alter a perception by building new beliefs about the stuff you want. You alter a perception by repetition, by doing it over and over. You alter a perception by expectation. You alter a perception by the faith. See how that works? You alter a perception. There's a question here. My ex said he doesn't see a future with me. Can I still manifest him? No, you cannot. Because human beings are self-aware. They have ability to freely choose. So, someone says, I don't have a future with you. I can't see a future with you. Why? My question to you is, why would you still want to be with someone who does not want to be with you? Alter your perception then. Why don't you perceive someone that would love to be with you? Someone that would cherish you. Someone that would love you the way you expect to be loved. That's altering your perception. That will bring that thing around you. Here's the next thing, guys. Whenever, whatever you are thinking, you're expecting, you're believing, you're attracting it to you. Not only you're attracting it to you, it is going to be a physical experience for you. And someone says it, that's because we live in a matrix. A matrix is a three-dimensional world that is comprised of information, like a video game, like a simulation. This information is streamed through our consciousness to our brains, and our brains then observe the 3D world and make up beliefs, make up stories and experiences, and we live them, and we experience them, and we feel them. Now, even though we're in a matrix, I want you to notice the key point I mentioned about the matrix. I said the matrix is a informational highway. It's information. Information can always be changed and perceived. Perception is when you perceive something differently. I'll go back to the example I give about the work thing. If you go to work and you say you found this channel and you're like, oh my God, this information, man, let me go test it out. And you go to work the next day, and then in your job, you know, you go there, everybody's struggling, same, they're not making enough money, you're not making enough money, whatever it is. But now you learn about it. I can alter my perception. And the next morning you go to work and you say, well, okay, let me test this theory. Let me test this perception thing this guy's talking about. So you go to work, everybody's telling you their story, but now you learn, you say, well, you listen to them and you say, well, that's your story, it's not mine. Then you start to say, you know what, this job, I'm going to change my perception. Actually, with this job, I'm going to start making more money. I can see myself making more money. If not in this job, somewhere else is going to pay me a lot more money, because this guy just told me that I can alter my perception, and the world I live in is fake, it's make up, and I can make up what I want to make up, and it will become my real life. That's basically what this guy's telling me. So let me go test it and see what happens. And if you do that repeatedly over a period of time, because it takes time for your subconscious to rewire to accept this. But you know, like maybe a couple months, 3 months, 4 months, something like that. It can be sooner depending on how much resistance you have. But let's say you do that. You know what'll happen? You start to get a raise. You start to make more money. Another opportunity will open for you, because information is non-biased. Information doesn't have a filter. It doesn't have judgment. So whatever you perceive, you're going to achieve. You see how that works? So when you alter your reality, you got to alter the perception of reality. Just because just the way it looks now, you can change the way it looks internally first. It got to be internally. So let me tell you what the do's and don'ts that you don't want to do when you're doing this stuff. You do not want to alter your perception by trying to change the physical world, by trying to go do something, by trying to force something, by to try to take some action to change the situation. That's not going to work, because what you're experiencing is the effect from a cause. You cannot alter something that's already happened. What's a bit? Okay, I'll give you a simple example. Let's say you have a glass of milk. Put your milk on the table. And then your hand accidentally hit the milk, so the milk is spilt on the table. But you try to go back and take up the milk and put it back in the cup. You can't do that. It's all splattered, something's on the floor. You can't. See, that's the effect of it. So when you're going to change your perception, you do not try to change something that already happened. Well, in basic terms, like, okay, if your life isn't the way you want it, you don't go out there and try to change your life by willing it, by forcing it, by trying to push it. That's the hard way. That's the resistance way. What you do is you change your life by changing your mindset, by changing your perception. By now, what if you got to see in the mind what the new life look like currently. Again, the key word is repeatedly. If you do this, then the outside physical world will match the inside internal world. See how that works? So let me say something else about changing your perception. In order to change your perception to your desired reality, you cannot be in a state of hating your job, hating your life. You cannot be in a state of not being grateful. You can't be in that state. You cannot be in a desperate, a needy. You cannot change your perception if you're in this state. So the first thing you have to do is you have to develop a state of neutrality. You got to be in a state of being grateful, no matter what it is, or you got to be in a state of it is what it is, or peace. But you cannot be in a state of desperation, need, angry, hate, all this. You cannot be there. Because what happens is, guys, our state of being is the tuner that changes our perception. So I'll give you an example. You can't be in a state like you're feeling like everything is against me. It's not working. I hate my stuff. I don't like my job. And then you go home and then you start to visualize, I have everything I want. I got the desired job I want. That is not going to work, because you're operating on two different states. Two different states is confusion. Two different states is resistance. So, but now, if you get into a state where you say, it is what it is, I appreciate my job, you know, something better is coming along, I'm just gonna go with it, it's all right, I'm happy, I find something to be grateful for, and then you go home and you start to visualize your purpose. Now you're going to attract it and manifest it, because now you don't have a different state of resistance. You have a flow state. Everything comes in easier when you're in the flow state. Your manifestations, they come a lot faster when you're in the flow state. The flow state is the master state. So once you get into that state, then it opens up the other avenues for things to come into your life. So again, in the beginning when I said to the live, I said, hey man, if you want to have your dream, get your dream job, get your dream life, all that stuff you're thinking, is it possible? It's very possible. Not only is it possible, you can actually do it, because everything we do, we change our perception of it. Change the way you look at the stuff around you. Give it a new meaning. Give it a beneficial meaning for you. Repeat it over and over. Those things now will start to show up into your life as the evidence of what you've been doing. And they'll start to show up for you to have them, to experience them, and to manifest them. So to answer the question, if you hate your job, and you're looking for another job, you're going to create a lot of resistance. So my advice is, don't hate your job. Find something grateful for your job, and then be open, and then you'll get a better job a lot faster, or whatever it is, a lot faster. But that's the state. When we alter our perception, when we alter the way we see something, especially ourselves. Now let me say this, because you got to get this. Listen, when I'm talking about your perception, okay, I'm talking about your perception of yourself first, not outside stuff, not like a car, a house. You have to change your self-perception first before all those things come into you. So now I'll give you an example. If your current self is not what you like, if your current self is like, you may not be self-confident, you may not be making the amount of money you want, you may not have the confidence, whatever it is, you may not feel so worthy of yourself, but you know this, and he's like, man, I wish I was more positive, man, I wish I was just more, you know, enthusiastic. I wish I was more inspirational. I wish I would just be more able to just get up and go do stuff. I wish I was like that guy over there. That guy just always doing money. I wish I had his personality. I wish I had that stuff, because you already know what you lack, right? So if you have that and you're looking to do these things, it's not going to work, because your subconscious only knows your perception of yourself. Your cells only know the perception you give them. They can't see the perception of somebody else. Okay, I just finished reading your book, Winning the Lottery, Quantum Physics. Really easy to understand. I'm glad you love it. Yes, that book shows you everything. Oh, where's that book? I have it here. So for you guys, if you want to go check it out. This book has everything about, you could learn to win the lottery, change your perception. There's everything in there. It's your guide to ultimate manifestation of everything you want, beyond lottery, everything. Here it is. Amazon, bestseller. Go get it. All right, so look. So when I talk about self-perception, guys, I'm talking about see yourself first. So you have to see yourself the way that you'd like to live. So once you see that version of yourself, right, in your mind, now your subconscious says, got it, I'm locked on. Okay, this is what we're gonna work on. Okay, this is the person you want to be. This is the person you want to become. Let's make it happen. Because remember, again, in the subconscious, there is no filter, there is no resistance, there's only acceptance. Write that down. In the subconscious, there's only acceptance. There is no rejection. The subconscious only accepts. It doesn't reject. You following me? So that means once something gets into the subconscious, it's a done deal. In other words, your subconscious will not question you and say, hey man, I noticed you changed your perception. You know, our old perception was, you know, we weren't that popular, we weren't that successful, but now you have this new perception that you are able to achieve all your goals easily and effortlessly. We can make a lot of money, we're more healthy. Where did that come from? I don't know if you can do that. Your subconscious doesn't work like that. Your ego does that. Your subconscious just works like this. Okay, I have this old perception, but the subconscious looks and says, okay, wait a minute. This is a new pattern. This is why I said repetition. The subconscious, this is a new pattern. Okay, I'll accept it. Because it's a pattern, and a pattern to the subconscious means accepted. So subconscious says, fine, this is the new you, we'll make it happen. See how it works? That's what I want to leave you with today. So the secret is change your perception, alter your perception, you alter your physical reality. See you next time.